What if the best meal of your life was not expensive, not fancy, and not from a five-star restaurant?
Oh, wow, that is such a good question.
Because sometimes the food you remember forever is not the most beautiful meal. It is the meal that found you at exactly the right moment.
Yes, the one that made you feel warm, safe, happy, or completely alive.
And that is exactly what we are talking about today.
Welcome back to Daily English Loop. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Alex. This is the place where learning English feels relaxed, natural, and part of real life.
So, if you want to practice your listening with a warm, story-based conversation, this episode is for you.
Today's question is simple, but honestly not easy. What is the most unforgettable meal you have ever had?
Oh, I love this topic already.
Me too, because this is not only about food,
Right, it is also about memory,
family,
comfort,
atmosphere.
and those little moments you never forget.
Exactly. So, Lisa, when you hear that question, the best meal of your life, what do you think first?
Honestly, I think of a feeling before I think of a dish.
That is interesting.
Yes, I think of warmth, comfort, and that quiet little moment when you take the first bite and just know, oh, this is special.
I love that, and I actually feel the same way.
So, are you ready to tell your story first?
Yes, I think so. And my answer may surprise some people because it was definitely not a luxury meal.
Good, those are usually the best stories.
I was about 10 years old, and my dad took me on a camping trip in the mountains.
Oh, already I like this story.
It was one of those long, exhausting days outside. We spent hours hiking up these steep trails, and by the end of the day, wow, I was completely worn out.
Worn out is such a useful phrase.
Yes, it means very tired, physically and mentally.
And after hiking all day, I can imagine that you were starving too.
Absolutely starving. My legs hurt, my stomach was empty, and the air had started getting cold.
That already makes the food sound better.
Exactly. Context matters so much. So we set up the tent, and my dad started making dinner over a campfire.
Oh, wow. Campfire food always feels special.
It really does. And the meal itself was very simple. Just burgers, bread, cheese, and a little ketchup.
Nothing fancy.
Not at all. In fact, if I saw that exact meal in a normal kitchen, I might think, okay, nice, but nothing unforgettable.
But out there, after a long day in the mountains, it was different.
Completely different. My dad cooked the burgers over the fire in an old pan, and everything smelled smoky and warm.
That sounds amazing.
The burger was juicy, the edges were a little crispy, and the cheese melted over the top.
Oh no, now I'm getting hungry already.
Same, honestly. And the best part was not only the taste, it was everything around it.
The atmosphere.
Exactly. The air was cold, the fire was warm, the sky was getting dark, and the stars were starting to appear.
That is such a beautiful image.
It really stayed with me. I remember sitting there next to my dad, holding that hot burger in both hands, feeling tired and happy and completely safe.
Wow, that is so much more than just dinner.
Yes, it felt like the food was giving me energy, but also comfort.
Like a warm hug.
Exactly. That is the perfect phrase. It felt like a warm hug after a long, hard day.
I think that is why people remember meals like that. The food becomes part of the memory.
Yes, and now even the smell of smoke or grilled meat can take me right back there.
Food really is like a time machine.
It really is. All right, I told mine, now it's your turn.
Okay, my story is very different, but somehow it has a similar feeling.
I love that already.
I was about 15, and it was winter. A really bad winter storm had hit our town.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was freezing outside. The wind was howling, and by late afternoon, the power went out in our neighborhood.
No electricity?
None. No lights, no TV, no heating. Everything suddenly felt dark and strangely quiet.
That sounds a little scary.
It was, honestly. I remember putting on extra layers because the house was getting colder by the minute.
So what happened next?
My mom lit candles all over the kitchen, and then she made dinner on our gas stove.
Candlelight and a snowstorm outside. That already sounds unforgettable.
It really was. And the meal was so simple: creamy tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh, wow. That combination is unbeatable.
It really is. The soup was hot and rich, and the grilled cheese was golden and buttery and perfectly crisp on the outside.
And soft in the middle?
Yes, soft, melty cheese in the middle. I dipped the sandwich into the soup, and honestly, it tasted like the best thing in the world.
I can completely understand that.
Because, again, it was not only about the food. Outside, everything felt cold and chaotic, but inside the kitchen, with the candles and the warm soup and my family around the table, everything felt calm.
Safe again.
Exactly. Safe, warm, and close. We sat there eating slowly, talking, laughing, and telling stories while the wind shook the windows.
That sounds almost cinematic.
It really does in my memory. I can still see the candlelight on the table and the steam rising from the soup.
That is such a strong image.
And I have had tomato soup many times since then, but it never tastes quite like it did that night.
I think that says everything.
Yes, sometimes the best meal is the one that gives you comfort at exactly the right time.
It is funny, isn't it? When people ask about the best food we have ever eaten, they expect something expensive or exotic.
Right, a famous restaurant, a chef, some beautiful plate with tiny portions.
But neither of us chose that.
Not at all. You chose a campfire burger, and I chose soup and grilled cheese.
Which proves something important.
Food is never only food.
Exactly. Food is people, place, smell, mood, weather, timing, all of it together.
Yes, a simple meal can become unforgettable if the moment around it is strong enough.
And on the other hand, even a fancy meal can feel boring if the atmosphere is wrong.
Oh, absolutely. You could be sitting in a beautiful restaurant, but if you're stressed, tired, or having a terrible conversation, the food will never feel special.
That is so true.
I think this is also why comfort food matters so much.
Ah, yes, comfort food is a great part of this conversation.
Definitely, because comfort food is not always the most impressive food. It is the food that makes you feel better.
So, what is your comfort food now?
Easy, spicy ramen.
Excellent answer.
If I've had a long week or I feel tired or stressed, a huge bowl of hot ramen makes everything feel a little better.
Is it the broth, the noodles, the heat?
Honestly, all of it. The hot broth, the soft noodles, the spice. It just feels comforting and satisfying at the same time.
That makes total sense. Mine is different, but also very simple.
Let me guess. Something sweet?
Yes, chocolate chip cookies.
Ah, that is such a good one.
Especially homemade ones. Warm, a little soft in the center, maybe with a glass of cold milk.
Wow, yes, that is a very serious comfort food.
It really is. And again, it takes me back to childhood immediately.
That's the magic of food memory.
Yes, the smell alone can change your mood.
I think everyone has at least one food like that, one smell or one taste that brings back a whole memory.
Definitely. Sometimes it's a holiday meal.
Sometimes it's a snack from childhood.
Sometimes it's street food from a trip.
Or even just something your grandmother used to cook.
Exactly. And that's why this topic is so good for English learners, too.
Yes, because it gives you so many useful speaking patterns.
You can describe taste,
Smell,
texture,
feeling,
memory.
place, and atmosphere.
For example, simple and useful phrases here are, "It was hot and comforting." "It smelled amazing." "The bread was crispy." "The soup was rich and creamy." "It reminded me of childhood."
Those are all such natural phrases.
And beginners can still use them because they're simple.
Exactly. Not complicated, just expressive.
I also like phrases like, "It made me feel warm." "It tasted even better because I was starving." "I still remember that meal clearly."
Oh, that last one is really nice.
Thank you.
Actually, I think one reason this topic works so well in conversation is because everyone has an answer.
Yes, maybe not immediately, but everyone has some kind of food memory.
Even if it is not the best meal ever, it could still be a meal I will never forget.
Exactly, and that is enough to start a great conversation.
Before we finish, I want to ask you one more question.
Go ahead.
Do you think the best meals are usually simple?
Not always, but I do think the meals people remember most are often simpler than they expect.
I agree.
Because when the food is simple, sometimes the feeling around it becomes even more important.
Yes, you notice the warmth, the people, the place.
Exactly. Simplicity leaves room for memory.
That is such a nice way to say it.
Thank you.
All right, let's do a quick recap before we go.
Good idea.
Today, we talked about unforgettable meals.
We both chose simple food, but in powerful moments.
We also used a lot of natural food vocabulary, like juicy, crispy, creamy, smoky, warm, rich, and comforting.
And we talked about how food connects to memory, family, weather, and emotion.
Which is why food is such a great topic for natural English conversation.
Definitely.
So now it is your turn. Tell us in the comments, what is the most unforgettable meal you have ever had?
What did you eat?
Where were you?
And who were you with?
Even a few simple sentences is great practice.
We'd love to read your story.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Daily English Loop.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
Keep practicing your English.
And go eat something delicious today.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!